In this video, you will learn about solving system of equations using elimination with addition and subtraction only. First, let's go over the steps to solve a system of equations with elimination. First, you need to line up the two equations so like terms are lined up vertically. Equal signs should be lined up as well. If the x or y terms are opposites, then you can add the two equations together. If the terms are not opposites, then you'll multiply one equation by -1 so that there are opposites, and then add the equations together. Your result should have one equation with one variable, so you can solve for the variable. Then you can substitute into one of the original equations to find the other variable, and lastly write your answer as an ordered pair. Our first example is 4x plus 8y equals 20 and -4x plus 2y equals -30. Now notice that the like terms are lined up and the x terms are opposite. So I can add straight down in my equation. If I add 4x plus -4x, that would give me 0x. 8y plus 2y gives me 10y. And 20 minus 30 would give me -10. Now since this is 4x minus 4x, those x terms cancel out. So I really don't have to rewrite this 0x at all. My equation is just 10y equals -10. To solve for y, I would divide both sides by 10, and that would give me y equals -1. Now once you have the value of y, you can plug it back into either of the original equations. So if I choose to plug it into the first equation, I would have 4x plus 8 times -1 equals 20. If I solve from there, I'll get 4x minus 8 equals 20. I can add 8 to both sides. So I'll have 4x equals 28, and divide both sides by 4 to get x equals 7. So the solution to the system is 7, -1. Our next example gives us the equations 3x plus 5y equals -8 and 6x plus 5y equals 4. Now notice that the like terms are lined up, but the y terms are not opposites. So in order to make the y terms opposites, I can multiply one of the equations by -1. So if I choose to multiply everything in this first equation by -1, my first equation will stay the same. So it'll become 3x plus 5y equals -8. And in the second equation, I'm going to multiply everything in this equation by that -1. So it'll become -6x minus 5y equals -4. Now, if I were to add the two equations together, you'll get -3x plus 0y equals -12. And again, since this is a 0, I don't even have to write it down. My equation really is -3x equals -12. Now to solve for x, I would divide both sides by -3, so you would get x equals 4. Now I can take this value of x and plug it into one of the original equations. So for example, my first equation was 3x, so it's going to be 3 times 4 plus 5y equals -8. 3 times 4 gives us 12 plus 5y equals -8. Subtract 12 from both sides to get 5y equals -20, and divide both sides by 5 to get y equals negative 4. So the solution for this system is 4 comma negative 4. In this video, we will talk about special cases of solving systems of equations with elimination. First, if the system results in a true statement, then there is infinitely many solutions. So for example, you could have 5 equals 5 would indicate infinitely many solutions. If the system results in a false statement, then there is no solution. So if you use something like 4 equals 0, which isn't true, then it would be considered no solution.
So in this example, it asks us to solve each system by elimination. So for the first problem, we can see that if I add straight down, the x's will cancel and the y's will cancel. So I can already just apply elimination by adding. And when I do this, negative x plus x becomes 0x. Negative y plus y becomes 0y. And negative 17 plus 15 becomes negative 2. Now when I look at this, I don't have to include the 0x or the 0y because there's a 0 in front of it. So this means it becomes 0 equals negative 2. Now this is a false statement, so this is what we would refer to as no solution, meaning there's no possible value of x and y that would work as a solution. Now the second problem, we can see that while when I add straight down the variables won't cancel, if I change the sign on one of them, I can make the x's or the y's cancel. So I'm going to multiply one of the equations by a negative. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to multiply the second equation by negative 1. So when I distribute, I'll multiply it to the first equation, so it becomes negative x minus 10y equals positive 4, and the top equation is going to stay the exact same. So it'll still be x plus 10y equals negative 4. Now when I add straight down to apply elimination, when I do so, negative x plus x becomes 0x, 10y minus 10y becomes 0y, and negative 4 plus 4 becomes 0. Now if I have a 0x, I don't have to write it because that cancels the x out. The 0y also cancels the y out. So this becomes 0 equals 0. Now since this is a true statement, because 0 does equal 0, this is what we call infinitely many solutions.